is happening, Magnus? You know, every once in a while when I find an interesting article, I like to go through them with y'all. Y'all seem to really enjoy them. And you always ask me for relationship advice. So I figured this would be a good one to go through, see if I agree, what I disagree with, if I apply these things, if not. So I was Facebook stalking a friend that I hadn't seen in a while. And on her page, she had posted this: the 50 things you need to know for a relationship to last. So, without further ado, I'm going to start out with number 1, go through 50 and give you my thoughts. So sit back, relax, learn, and enjoy. Alright? Number 1, burn your blueprint. Rid yourself of whatever fantasies you harbor about the bliss of coupled life. They're not helping. There is no script, so don't be disappointed when your fairy tale gets hijacked. And I think this is kind of like, there's people that have that list, or they have too much on their list, or they have these fantasy-like requirements for their mate, that their mate needs to have. And we need to know that, kind of like when Bruce Lee talked about how, fighting is offbeat and can be uncoordinated. It's not like, the opponent moves out of rhythm. You think that you can really teach, move like you have to do this and this and this and this. No, it doesn't work like that. The human body does not flow with rhythm all the time. So the same principle can be applied to relationships. You cannot think that your relationship is going to be like this, and this, without any problems or any skips or any hiccups, or any, offbeat moments, okay? Not every relationship is perfect. And, but every relationship can be, I'm going to say that no person is perfect, but they can be perfect for you. But we all still have our flaws, and there are things we have to get through as a couple together. I could do a whole video on just that one thing right there. Next, forgive. Didn't Jesus say something about forgiving someone not just 7 times, but 77 times? 70 times 7 times. That would be 490 times, which would last you through your first 6 months. Jesus estimated, because remember, he wasn't married. Forgiveness is something you're going to have to learn to do, okay? That is something I learned to do early, okay? Because, like I said, we're not perfect. We both have to do things that make each other mad, so that's something you've got to learn, I think it's, I've met certain couples that have told me that they never fight. And a few years later, I find out that they do have fights, so you may have some bliss even for a few years where it's like totally just like it seems like it's sent from God in your relationship. But you are going to have a problem sooner or later, a disagreement sooner or later. If one of you pisses off the other one, instead of leaving, saying you don't care about me and I'm mad at you, and learn to forgive, because you done did something to make them mad before too. 3, and forget. I will go on record and say this is the hardest part for me. I haven't even read what they have to say about it yet, but this is the hardest part for me, because depending on what it is, there is no way I'm going to forget. I can forgive pretty much anything, almost anything. But that right there is the reason why I am not with 2 ex-girlfriends. I know what they did, and I can't forget it. It would have been a thorn in our sides pretty much forever. So, all time we heals all wounds, and who knows, maybe you'll see an ex-girlfriend on my channel one day again. No, it's not who you think. But maybe you will. Who knows? But, forgetting is hard. And, me, as far as forgetting goes, I've just learned that I can't forget these things, and I am looking for a new woman. But it says, and forget. If you forgive, but don't forget, did you really forgive? Yeah, you did. But it's just hard. It's there. It's sitting in your fucking head. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a little monkey on your shoulder. I know people who claim to have forgiven, but still use every available opportunity to bring it up. And if you don't want to forgive, forgetting works just as well. I see. Well, that is something that I will have to work on because, yes, I know. And all of you, as a matter of fact, men and women know that if you cheat, which is pretty much one of the worst things you can do to your mate, that if they take you back, if they forgive, you know it's going to be hard for them to forget, right? And you get into them damn arguments, and guess what? They will bring it up if it's relevant. Some people, I think, use it unfairly, but they will bring it up if it is relevant. And I did have a particular girlfriend that did pretty much cheat. And when it was relevant, I brought it up. Ace in whole. Okay, I won every fucking argument because it was relevant. She lost. Anyway, 4, be a good teammate. This is true. I think I know what they're talking about already. Life can come at you hard. One of the nice things about marriage and relationships is being able to have someone else in the bunker when you get shelled. Yes, you have that other person to help you when you need them, whether it be, for men most of the time it's supportive, it's emotional, it's that thing, that woman that's behind you, stands beside you. That good teammate is excellent. It creates a camaraderie amongst you and your girl or your man that you may not have had before. Sometimes you're friends and great lovers, but when you have that teammate, it's different. That's where power couples come from. They're that teammate. Trust me on that. Number 5, grow. If you still have the same desires, opinions, and beliefs at age 50 that you did at age 25, that's your own damn fault. You will not and should not be the same person you were then. Growing with an individual is great. And I will say that there's one relationship in particular that I learned the most from. We learned together. We grew as people. And we're not the same people we were when we first got together. And I think that was a good thing. I think we're actually better people, both of us, better people than we were. So I think that's a good thing. 6, and adapt. Even if you stagnate, the person you're in a relationship with will change. Don't fight it, embrace it, learn from it, and be thankful for it. Yeah, that's true. You're going to change as people over the years, especially if you're going to be married. People, right, we've been married 50 years. Like, you're going to change, and you need to adapt to each other's changes, as long as they're not harmful, and as long as they're positive changes. Either or, They ain't hurting nobody. It's like, okay. But as long as they're positive, I think you should be able to adapt. Number 7, find your faith. There's great comfort in believing in something or someone beyond our crude human existence. Explore this belief, take this journey together. I think if you both do have the same ideology, that will help. Okay, if you have the same philosophy about life, that will absolutely help. There was a girl I was with who we both I think she actually kind of adapted to my ideology of life. She did. She did. In a lot of ways, adapt to my ideology. And I think that really helped us. That helped us become great teammates and partners at the same time. You know what I mean? Because if you have opposing ideologies, like that's, and philosophies about life, if they're opposing, if they're kind of parallel or they're similar, that's going to help. But if they're opposing, I don't know if that'll help. Number 8, travel together. Travel forces couples to rely on one another in unpredictable ways. It will also broaden your worldview in the way you value your relationship. I found that traveling did help a particular relationship. It broadened my horizons. I planned on traveling in the first place, but because of her requesting it so much, I traveled earlier than I wanted to. And while reflecting on me traveling when I did, it actually it did more harm to the relationship than good. Um, Financially and in other ways. Trust me when I tell you that. That's another story for another video. But it did broaden my horizons, and I realized there's so much more to the world than just where I live. Number 9, travel separately. Really, I want to go to Australia, and you want to go to Maine. Cool. Take lots of pictures. See you in a week. That's all it gives on that. I guess. I mean, there was a girl I was in a relationship with where she went on a trip, and I didn't go. And I didn't really care to go or want to go. And I guess that's fine. It's kind of like her going to the club with her friends, and I don't go. I'm cool with that. She know how to behave her fucking self. So, you want to go? Go ahead. It's just a little further away. Number 10, develop your own interests. It seems counterintuitive, but you will enhance your relationship when you pursue your separate interests. That's true. It helps for an interesting dynamic in your relationship. You have a lot of things to talk about. You can offer different perspectives on things in your relationship when you both take different paths and have different interests. Trust me, that does work. Number 11, cultivate a wide, diverse circle of friends. One of the greatest joys of living is meeting new people, and many of the people you meet will likely make you appreciate your mate even more. I don't know if it helped me appreciate my mate even more, but there was a girlfriend that I dated, and we kind of collected that group of friends that knew us. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. It was one of those, it was like, hey, and it was a cool thing to have friends from each side, friends that I brought to the table, friends that she brought to the table, and I thought it was a good dynamic there. 12, don't keep score. I'm guilty of this. I know a couple who keeps track of the number of times each partner completes a household chore. Don't do this, it's exhausting and childish. I've kept score on other things, but yeah, keeping score can be an issue. Can be. Although I do think there are times when it's relevant, But I can see where this can definitely help. Let's see. 13, exercise. You owe it to each other to be in the best physical health possible. I absolutely believe this. The mental side effects from exercise will also be beneficial. Yes, you're a fitter couple, better sex, you look better, you feel better, your mind's better, especially if you work out together. It's a good thing to do. Believe me when I tell you. Number 14, practice self-awareness. Take frequent looks in the mirror. Reflect on who you are and the contributions you are making to your relationship. See, that's where the keeping score comes in with me sometimes, There's one relationship, I felt like I contributed so much more to the relationship than they did. And there was some resentment there, you know what I mean? Are you being judgmental, unfair, harsh, hypocritical, defensive? Hypercritical, defensive, and that can come in. That can definitely come in. I've been through it and dealt with it with other relationships. So, yeah, you do need to be aware of what's happening and how you are contributing, what you are contributing. Are you contributing positively? Are you contributing negatively? You understand what I'm saying there? All right. Admit you're wrong, even on occasion when you aren't. Now, I don't believe that last parentheses part, even on occasion when you aren't. I absolutely do not believe in that. I only admit I'm wrong when I'm wrong. And that's part of being an adult. And more importantly, for me, part of being a man. When you can admit when you're wrong, That's one of the greatest things in the world, especially to women. Okay, because a lot of guys are really stubborn and they can't do it. I can do it. I believe in, being, doing what's right. And when you're wrong, admit it. It says, this is both the easiest and hardest thing to do on this list. But this simple gesture will pay immeasurable dividends. It will help you grow, and it's just the right thing to do. Makes me think a woman wrote this now. That it says even on occasion when you aren't, because I've heard that a lot of women apologize when they know that they're right and their husband is wrong. It may help you through a particular moment, but I think it could help make a monster out of somebody when you would say that you're wrong when you're not. That's wrong in principle to me. If someone could give me a more in detail, in depth explanation why I should admit I'm wrong even when I'm not, I'll take a look at it. Not saying I'll adopt it, but I'll take a look at it. 16. Celebrate accomplishments big and small. I've done that with relationships. Whether it's a promotion at work or a police officer lets you off with just a warning, find every occasion possible to toast your good fortune. That's true. Just helps breed positive energy. 17. Surprise one another. Fill up her car, let him sleep alone in the bed once in a while, buy some bacon. Um, okay. I get to fill up the car and to buy some bacon, but let him sleep alone in the bed? I don't know what that means exactly. I mean, if you're a couple, don't you sleep together? Uh, um, excuse me. 18. It's the good little things. Holding the door, suggesting a movie night, paying attention. The reward for these is greater than the sum of the parts. That's true. That's true. Little affectionate gestures like that work, especially if the man is doing that for the woman. If we're paying attention to the little things, that's always big with women. Always remember that, fellas. There's certain guys that are like that, but they are in the minority. I don't say we, they, because I'm not a guy that needs you to pay attention to me like that. 19, and it's the bad little things. Cracking your knuckles, spitting, clearing your throat, picking your nose, chewing ice. These are the death by 1,000 cuts to your relationship. I don't crack my knuckles. I haven't dealt with a woman that cracks her knuckles. That's more of a male thing to do, which I don't like male-like females anyway. Spitting, which is a nasty male habit, I think. A lot of men do that. And I've met women that spit, and I'm like, oh, like, it always is like, she just spit? Clearing your throat. Well, I mean, everybody gets phlegm once in a while. Picking your nose. That's an issue. I mean, I've met girls that have, itched their nose in front of me, I got a homeboy that literally will dig, like he's digging for gold in front of his girl. He farts and does all that shit. She thinks it's funny. Whatever. Chewing ice would get on my nerves. I remember when my mom was alive, she went through this habit of chewing ice. I'm like, Mom, okay. So number 20, cultivate your finer qualities. When do you ever have an opportunity to really work on qualities that make you a better person? In a strong relationship, you can do it every single day. Qualities like patience, loyalty, compassion, and trust. That is true. Which is something that I had all the time. I always tried to make sure that I trusted my girl. She told me, whatever she told me, she was telling me the truth. Loyalty is always loyal. Patience. Patience is huge with women. Believe me. Believe me, fellas. Having patience is huge. My ladies, you know that too. With men, because we can be stubborn and I know. Patience is huge. And compassion. This is something I had to work with a particular relationship because over the years of life, just being a man and dealing with women, kind of like women do, I'd become a little callous to certain aspects of having a relationship with a woman. And I had to learn to drop that ball. And when I dropped it, it made things a lot better, So, yes. 21. The bathroom is private. If you think it's quaint to brush your teeth while I use the toilet, you'll change your mind about that eventually. Trust me. First of all, yeah, like that's just not happening with me. It's not happening. If my future wife or girlfriend is watching this video, I dare you to walk in while I'm on the toilet. See what happens. See what happens. That's all I got to say. 22. Talk about sex, but not right before, during, or right after. No. Yeah, I know that's true. You know what I mean? Sex is an important part of any relationship, but for some couples don't want to discuss it unless they are in the throes of passion. Don't make sex a taboo subject. Yeah. That's good because it kind of sometimes it'll warm you up to do it right there, or have a session later. Spontaneity. 23. Encourage each other. That's a big must. We all have insecurities. Your relationship is one place where you should be completely free to reveal these, and your spouse should help you to overcome them. That's true. Some people hide their insecurities, and it's very good to open up to your partner if you trust them to, to understand. It gives them a deeper understanding of you. And I've done this with girlfriends, and they have done it with me, and it does help. Believe me. If you trust them, if you're at a point in your relationship, you trust them, go ahead. Because sometimes a person can take your insecurities and turn them against you. And that's the worst type of quality to have with somebody, because it's like, damn, I trusted you, now you know, and now you're using it against me, which is very hurtful and wrong to do. Let's see here. 24. It's okay to have secrets. Even George Bailey slipped Violet Bick a $20 bill every now and then. I don't know what that means. But, yeah, I mean, some things are just so private. And I understand there are people that will fight that, but you may not share every single deep, dark aspect of your psyche or deep, private aspect of your psyche with your mates. I get that. 25. Avoid subtext. This is a cowardly way to communicate. If you have something to say it. Don't hint about it. Women, y'all know this. I'm not saying men don't, because that passive aggressive shit. Plenty of women do this shit. And I have told women, and matter of fact, badass John that I dated is as a matter of fact, two that I dated are or had an interest in are absolutely positively guilty of this. Don't run, don't be a punk, don't be a coward. Say what you gotta say to me. Not like I'm crazy enough to kill you. I'm crazy. But I ain't gonna kill you. I ain't gonna shoot you. I ain't gonna stab you. I ain't gonna choke you. I ain't gonna bite your head off. Alright? Tell me what the problem is so we're not dealing with days or weeks or months or even years of resentment of shit that you can't fucking say like an adult. I hate that shit. Sorry about that. Temper was getting a little, Put it down. I know how to put it down. And we're talking about the toilet seat. Her cell phone, the beat. The beat? Okay. I don't know what the beat is, but her cell phone. Yeah, well, don't be going through each other's phones in the toilet seat. I don't lift it anyway, because my aim is perfect. And if I slip up, there's toilet paper to wipe off my air roar. I'm efficient with what I do. You know what I'm saying? Fuck the extra step. So you never got worry about falling in the toilet with me, my dears. Pick it up. Your dirty sock, your used tissue, the paste. I don't know what the paste means, but pick it up. Yeah, well, I'm clean anyway, for the most part. I've actually had, I can actually let things go sometimes, especially when women aren't coming to my house. I remember the other day, when I had company, I actually mopped the floor, because I hadn't mopped it in like 3 weeks. I have a small floor here. That's it. But I just like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody in my house. Ain't nobody shit. The floor don't stink. And it's not bothering me. So, but yeah, it's important to be clean and do your part. Number 28, don't over romanticize past or future relationships. Yeah, some people do that, especially women. Y'all big on romance. Partly society's fault for breeding a lot of that romance into your minds. You weren't that great and your ex isn't that hot. Now I am that great. I was and am that great. And yeah, some of my exes were that hot. So sorry, but I understand what they mean by that. Sometimes people like bring that shit up in relationships, you know, and it can be a block. It can actually be a huge stumbling block for you to bring up past shit, you know. Um, Never use the S word. What's that? Don't call each other stupid. That's just not wise. That's funny. I have to admit that, and you know, let me tell you, I'm going to tell you guys something. I really take this seriously. I'm not a name caller. I'm not a name caller in relationships. I've never once called a woman out of her name up until one relationship. One. And it has been the only one since. Where if you were there, you would have understood. But she tried my patience so much. She never trusted me. She never believed me. And I don't want to say never as in always. But it was just ridiculous. Like, you guys, because of how truthful I am with relationships, it boggled my mind that she would tell me that I was lying to her and that she didn't trust me and she didn't believe me. And when I tell her I was doing this, she's telling me I was doing something else. I did call her stupid a few times and I called her an idiot. And there were a couple times where I called her a bitch, which never has come out of my mouth. I'm being totally honest with that. No other relationship have I ever said that to any girl. And, you know, it was like, there was a certain aspect of the relationship that drove her to that, you know, and it shouldn't have, but it did. Her own mind got to her. And she actually, at one point later on, even though I don't date this girl anymore, you know, she admitted to me that she shouldn't have done that. That, you know, and it was the total downfall of our relationship. And we probably would still be together if, you know, I'm not talking about Sarah. We probably would still be together if, you know, it didn't come to that. If she had just trusted me. That's why I told you trust is so important. Number 30, offer solutions, not criticism. Anyone can criticize. A good teammate will offer a way out. Mm-hmm. I've often been the one to do both. Most of the time, though, I offer the way out. But if it needs it, like, I'm like a good friend. So the criticism isn't exactly how criticism you feel that thought in your mind. I'm telling you kind of what you did wrong and then helping correct that so you know what you did wrong. Sometimes people just offer a solution, but you don't know what the hell you did wrong to get out of your problem. I'm telling you what you did specifically so that you know why I'm telling you what to do to get out of your relationship. You understand? I mean, to get out of the issue. 31. This is important. Read. To escape or expand, either way, it helps. Yes, you can read stuff together. You know, you can discuss it together. It really does help. Or read separately. It does help. Expand your minds. 32. You are equals. It doesn't matter which one of you makes the most money. It doesn't matter which one of you has a better REO, speed wagon vinyl collection. That's the man. It doesn't matter which one of you has the best nickname. It doesn't matter which one of you has the coolest food allergy. Yeah, that's true. You are equals. And what I mean by that is that You both bring something to the relationship. Men and women know their role and play their part. If you know your role properly, you will realize you are equals. There is a job that just your wife can do better, that you can't. And there's stuff that you can do better that your wife can't do, period. But you're both equal parts to this partnership. Okay? Let's see here. Compliment each other sincerely and often. That's true. I don't need it much, but every once in a while I've noticed when a compliment was sincere coming from a girlfriend that it made me feel better. It did. It made me feel good and more confident. Like at certain times we would dress to go out and, I'd be dressed thinking I look good, I'm feeling good pretty much by myself, but, she would step in and say something and I'd be like, really? Okay. And it helps, you say something to that about your girl, that y'all know what I'm talking about there. She put a little extra arch in her back when she walks when you compliment her. 34, respect each other's friends. That's true. You know your wife's a loudmouth, insane Kathy who thinks you have weak bullshit and can't believe you're married, her BFF? Yeah. There's an ex-girlfriend that I have that I can think of right now whose best friend I fucking hate it. Until this day I hate. I cannot stand this girl. And I don't know how. Actually, I do know how they're friends. Because you know how you'll have a homeboy that is the edge in your friendship. He's the ass kicker while you might be the lover. You might be the ladies' man, but he's the ass kicker. Yeah. That's it. But she's the thought. She's the fucking loudmouth, trash mouth, 5-kid having baby mama, stanky ass weave wearing, just like, I'm serious and I absolutely mean this. And if my ex watches my videos, she's gonna know exactly who the fuck I'm talking about. Until this day, I'm telling you right now, if I ever got with this ex again, if we got married, I refuse to have this bitch in the wedding. We're not getting, but that's how much seething hate. I cannot stand this bitch. I cannot stand her. She even lied to her one time and told her I tried to come at her. Yeah, that type of... Okay. Number 35. Know when to keep your mouth shut. No list would be complete without the "do these jeans make my butt look big" lessons. Hell yeah, they make it look big, girl. You know what I'm saying? That's more like that white folk taboo, most people, non-whites, want their booty to look big. And now white girls want their booty to look big. So, but we know the principle of this. Sometimes it's just best keep your mouth shut and discuss things at a different time. You getting ready to go out. If that's going to put her in a bad mood, just tell her, you look fine, honey. You look fine. You look fine. Not saying lie, but just bypass it. Number 36, indulge each other's passions. Scrapbooking doesn't count. No. Yes, you can indulge in each other's passions in many, many ways if you know what I'm talking about. Trying new things together, all that stuff. And I don't just mean sex. It could be food. It could be art. It could be a lot of things. Lose your arbitrary moral code. This will be interesting. This list alone proves that I am the king of the double standard. When I want to spend money on a new set of golf clubs, it's a good investment. When my wife wants to spend, money on a new kitchen countertops, she's profligate. It's not exactly fair. Yeah, it's not fair. It's not. I told you I'm about doing what's right, being fair. So, if you can spend money on this, and then your wife wants to spend money on something that costs about just as much, you know what I mean? Really, I know there's certain arguments you can get into about it, but, especially if it's something material, You know, it's not, something that's maybe like say I wanted to pursue, I don't know, there's certain things you can pursue that are two different things. As long as they're on the same playing field, I think you should both be able to do them. Anyway, respect space and time. That's number 38. Have we not evolved as a species or watched enough Dr. Phil to realize our mate does not want to answer the question, how was your day, the minute he or she walks in the door? I'm going to have to disagree with this one in that I never wanted to hear that unless I was in a good mood. But I was in such a shitty job for about a year or so that I didn't want to, because it made me have to conjure up and relive the bullshit that I lived with that day. Women, I've heard, for the most part, want to be asked that because women like to talk out their problems. Men go inwards, get rid of the frustration, and then maybe later they'll talk about it. Number 39, take pride in your appearance. Yes, yes, yes. I was just talking with a girl about this the other day, about how men, oh my God, we respect so much, and men need to do it too, a woman who takes pride in her appearance. It is so, I could do just a whole video on this, and I probably have, but let's see what they say. Your marriage license doesn't give you a free pass to always wear sweatpants and t-shirts. You damn right. What you did to get me, you need to do to keep me. Yes, I know when we live together, I'm going to see you without makeup. I'm going to see you in sweatpants and a t-shirt. But it is not a license to stop doing what you did to make me put the ring on your finger. And you taking pride in your appearance was one of the qualities that made me want to put a ring on your finger. You understand that? And there could be so many women that don't agree with it. I don't give a fuck. Because me and you ain't getting married in the first fucking place. You're going to be somebody else who, one of my, some of you might laugh at this, some of you might agree with this. Coming from a simpler aspect, my perfect woman, physically, is a cross between a happy homemaker and a girl that's Instagram bad. And when you cross both of those, you get a woman that is hot, so hot that every man wants her. But when you cross the happy homemaker in there, she's chic, modest, sophisticated, respectful, but not every guy has had her. You see that? And I do remember in particular a girl that I dated who was physically on par with what I wanted as far as marriage goes. Mentally and all that other stuff, there were other things that to be lacking, but I'm just talking about physically right now. If you looked at her Instagram, there was none of these shots. There's no ass on the sink. There was no exorbitant amount of cleavage in a fucking shot. Nothing. You could look at her and tell that she was built well. She always took care of her hair, her makeup, just everything was pretty much flawless about how she took care of herself. But you respected her when you looked at her. You respected it. You weren't like, oh, I want to fuck her. Like a lot of these Instagram chicks. Like, it's just like, God, that's all you do is sell sex all day. It's like, what's funny is I follow some of these chicks. It's kind of like you provide a specific need every once in a while. Yeah, I like a little woohoo. Look at that titty. Look at that ass. But you're not a girl I would date or want to marry because as far as I'm concerned, you ain't got enough respect for yourself. You don't really take that much pride in your appearance because you're showing all your ass and titties to everybody else. A woman that respects herself and takes pride in her appearance is sexy but respectful. Alright? 40. Maintain good hygiene. I mean, I think that should go without saying. Could could your big toenail puncture, could your big toenail puncture a snow tire? Could you breathe and peel wallpaper? Take care of that. Please, I don't want to have to tell you again. Well, I mean, we all know that. You're supposed to take care of your hygiene. You know, it's just the way it is. I mean, you need to be clean. I mean, and men and women will get more of what they want when they have great hygiene, period. And a lot of times, hygiene has to do with your health. Okay, when you don't eat right, you can stink. I'm gonna tell y'all a funny story. I remember one time going to. This was when I was with Sarah. We went to New York for WrestleMania, and when we went, there was this place. Well, I think we were there for 2 or 3 days. And when we were there was this place I kept eating at. Both of us kept eating at. It wasn't affecting her the way it was affecting me, though. And I've noticed this, that for me, my what I eat changes my smell. Okay, and when I sweat, what I smell like, seriously, it just does, and it does for women too. But I'm just talking about for me specifically. And I remember that I don't know if it was Lebanese. I couldn't tell what it was, but they were like, "If you tell me if y'all have had this food," they would have like. It would be like a bunch of rice and meat, and they would have kind of like this block of meat that I don't know what it was, but they would kind of like shave it off and chop it off and, fry it up on the grill and put it in there with the rice, and it was good. And they were always cooking on the corner of the hotel that we were staying at, and I would go there every day. And I remember I went down to the gym to work out that morning, like the third day or something like that. And I was like, yo, I fucking stink. I gotta get out of this gym. Dudes is probably gonna start looking at me like, yo, what the fuck? And I thought it was somebody else. I'm like, damn, this nigga over here stink. Like, and I was like, at one point, I forgot what I was doing, but I was like, did that just come up? I was like, that, I don't know what the fuck it was. So I go up to the hotel room, and I'm like, I gotta get in the shower. I was like, yo. And she was like, oh, I don't smell you now. Sarah's nose was like a bloodhound, okay? I've heard that women's nose can be 6 to 7 times more sensitive than men's. And then it hit her. She was like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah. She was like, babe, oh. I was like, I know. I think it's the food. And I really do. I've noticed that just, over time, even after that. I was like, you know what? Why do I smell funny? Because I fucking was eating this shit yesterday. Like, I know. So anyway, yeah. That's my story for that little tidbit. Let me see here. Number 41. Ask before you throw it away. That is huge, especially with me. And I'm kind of a hoarder in a way. Like, I remember after my mom had passed, me and my brother were cleaning the house, and he had said to me, yo, Mom was a junk bug. And I was like, yeah. And I realized later that I definitely inherited that trait. Like, I always think that I can use something later. And I have a ton of shit. Like, when I move, oh my God. Like, I'm going to try to get rid of a lot of stuff. Because I always think, and I just did get rid of a bunch of stuff too. I just threw away a ton of shit. And yeah, so, but ask before you throw it away. Don't touch that broken ceramic animated cactus tequila shot glass holder. I'm serious. That's right. I want it. So don't throw it away. 42. Invite his or her family to special gatherings. At least once. Thankfully, this may be all you need. I could do that. I'm more of a private person. I'm more of an introvert, so I don't like a bunch of people all in my house looking at shit, turning shit over, digging in shit. But I could do that, As long as I like your family, they'll get invited. If I don't like them, too bad. It ain't happening. I'm not going to sit here and smile in front of people I don't really like and have them come to my house and fake smile in front of me. Truth and honesty. That's all you're going to get from Magnus. 43. Speaking of family, everyone gets a holiday card and a birth announcement. Even your creepy Uncle Steve, their psycho, and their psycho cousin Lisa. No. I don't celebrate the holidays anyway, so whoever I marry, if she wants to do all that, she can do it. And a birth announcement. She'll probably do all that anyway. Um, Stuff y'all like to do. You know, you always hand out invitations. That's what women do. Number 44. I've definitely had to work on this one in the past. Don't be petty. So I forget to stop at the store to get your prescription. Do you have to throw away my ceramic cactus shot glass holder? Yeah, don't be petty. Don't be petty. That, it really, you know, if there's a real problem, I get it. Like, you know, sometimes we take small things, which I know can be argued are big things, and we blow it out of proportion. You know, I know a girl who told me one time that her man, they went to a barbecue, and her man, she made his plate and everything. Like, she's a good girlfriend. She made his plate, brought him his drink and all that stuff. I know some of y'all that's routine is what a girlfriend should do, but a lot of girls don't do that. They don't make your plate for you. They don't bring you a drink. They don't do that shit. Well, she did that, but when they left, she wrapped up her food, but she didn't wrap up his, and he literally didn't talk to her all night because of that. That's petty. Be a fucking man and tell your girl what it was that bothered you. Now, I know sometimes people are insecure or bothered by the fact that they have to say something like that. Like, they actually feel like a punk or a bitch for having to have to tell that they are mad about something so insignificant. But just be a fucking man or a woman and tell them what made you mad. Okay? Number 45, be self-sufficient. Learn to do your own laundry. I prefer being self-sufficient. My woman doesn't have to do a goddamn thing for me. Or maybe one thing. But that's it. Because I can't do it myself. And I wouldn't want to do it myself. Because that'd be kind of weird. But, and Ryan Wright-ish of myself to do that. Anyway, so, yes, be self-sufficient. Know how to cook a meal. How to navigate the grocery store. How to make an online purchase. How to turn off the water to the house. How to erect a Nerf basketball hoop. How to unclog the toilet. I told a couple of girlfriends that, you know, while a lot of times, you know, husband and wife, girlfriend and boyfriend have these like designated jobs in the house, if we teach each other how to do these things, we'll be able to do these things when the other one is not around. Instead of having something go catastrophically wrong or having to call the other one. You know, I remember there was a girl that I worked with who told me, I learned to change a tire this weekend. And I was like, you know, that's actually pretty good because now you don't have to call a man to do it or AAA. You can get going to where you need to go. You know, look, I know how to change a tire. And there have been times where the nuts were on so hard I was like, Jesus H. Christmas, I might need to call AAA. Literally jumping on the jack, the tire iron to get it off, get the nut off. Sound like I'm fucking the nut was on so hard to get the nut off. Anyway, yes, be self-sufficient. Number 46, everything is fair and game for a joke. There would be so many. Well, one in particular, girlfriend, that would not agree with you on this one. This should be the heart of everything you do. I have not found a single thing that I have been unable to eventually laugh about. If you know this from the beginning, it makes things a lot more fun. I do think, though, that most things, I'm not going to say everything, but I would say that most things are for fair game for you to joke about in your relationship. It does. It helps relieve tension and helps you be more comfortable and discuss things together. 47, have good manners. Yes, that's true. Don't yell, open the door, help carry the groceries, cover your cough, hold your gas. Yes, I'm very big on manners all the way around, some girls, it goes from, like, think of it, belching, okay, burping. it'll go from this in the beginning of a relationship to later, 5 years later. No, ladies. Okay, and the same thing with me. Like I had a habit of hacking in the morning, clearing my throat a lot in certain instances, and just one girlfriend had pointed that out to me, and I was like, wow, I really do. You know what happened? One time I was doing a video, and I accidentally left the camera on when I was done, and it was the morning when I don't know, I had a lot of phlegm, and I went to edit the video, and I was like, what's this? I thought I turned it off. And I was listening to myself, and I was like, Jesus Christ, how many times am I going to hack and cough, and how many times am I going to do this? And I was like, wow, I see why it irritated her so much. That was more of me just not knowing what I was doing. If I had known, I wouldn't have done it as much. But yes, have good manners. All the stuff. Have good manners. 48. Be responsible with money. Yes, because you could absolutely, catastrophically destroy your relationship. Most relationships end over money. Correct? Some people say, no, it's because we were arguing a lot. Yeah, but how were you doing financially when that happened? Yes. Trust me, it's true. No one lives on love. You need money. You earned it. You will almost certainly respect it. If you didn't earn it, you must respect it even more. That's true. That's true. Manage your money properly, please, because it will destroy your relationship. Remember to say thank you. As I always do that. With anyone, just in life, say thank you when someone has done something for you. Even and especially when things don't seem like they need to be acknowledged. Yes. Definitely. 50. Adapting beats abandoning. Okay. There will be moments when you want to quit, walk out, give up. You can do that, but you will probably be doing so without giving due consideration to the new life that awaits you. Will you be better off in 6 months or 10 years? Yes, that's true. Always, if you're going to end something, make sure that you've totally contemplated and you're absolutely sure that you're going to be better off. I'm not talking about, just struggle through a relationship and be unhappy. That's not what I'm talking about. But it is true, when you have to think about it. And whenever I've ended relationships, I've known that I would be better off. And every single time I was. So I'm glad that I have made the proper decision when ending relationships, so because not everybody does. They end relationships on a whim. They're petty over the dumbest shit. They break up with people, good people who they could have worked through a small petty problem with. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Anyway, thank you very much for sitting through this whole video. This was fun. I got a chance to really give my thoughts on that. For those of you that love Magnus Answers and love to hear my philosophy and ideology and my thoughts on life, I know you all enjoyed it too. So post your comments down below and let me know what you think. Did you enjoy it? Did you agree? Did you disagree with certain things? What are your thoughts? 1 million subscribers. Woo!